Big night of boxing. Big night of boxing. What'd you guys think of the Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight? Uh, boy, more like Roy hugs Jones Jr. I'm like, come on, man, you gonna hug the whole fight? I never even thought of him doing that. I'm like, you can't really get an assessment of Mike Tyson because what are you gonna do when the other guy doesn't want to fight? Reminded me of Lennox Lewis versus Henry Akinwande. I went to go see that fight in Reno, and Akinwande got disqualified for holding. I think if this had been a legitimate, real fight, not an exhibition, I think they would have taken a point from Roy because all he was doing was hugging. And you saw him breathing heavy after round one. And then later he'd throw these little pity pat punches to look like he was doing something. But there's no way that fight was a draw. And I know if Teddy Atlas was watching, he would say Mike Tyson was engaging in what he calls silent agreements, where when they clinch, Tyson doesn't really try to get him up off of him. And I was hoping Mike would do that, kind of push him off or, wrestle, throw him down or something. But I guess he didn't want to go that route since it was an exhibition bout on paper. But I enjoyed seeing the fight, I wanted a knockout. I predicted a first round knockout, 3 tops. What'd you guys think of the whole presentation? I wasn't fond, I didn't like all the foul language and the rappers and all that. And the room was really dark, seemed eerie, kind of looked like a video game. And I noticed the ring lights were right over them. I thought that was probably intimidating Roy Jones. And, the ring walks, seemed like right when they started, Roy came out to his own rap. And by the time Mike came out, it's like he was already halfway to the ring. So it wasn't much build-up. I wanted it to be more of a build-up, The entrance to the ring is a big thing in boxing, especially for someone like Mike Tyson and the heavyweights. But I think at the end, Mike Tyson said, we got to do it again. And he even joked around and had Roy joking. He's like, they keep talking about somebody you getting hurt. Like you've been doing this long. You've been fighting more recent than me. Like you fought 2 years ago. I haven't fought in 15 years. But it was good to see him back in the ring. And I think we would have got more of an action fight and probably a knockout if Mike Tyson had fought Shannon Briggs, because Briggs wouldn't have been holding as much. And he had the potential to hurt Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson would have opened up and hurt him too, possibly. And Roy Jones just knew going into the fight he couldn't really hurt Mike, so I think he knew I'm going to just, throw pity pats here and there and clinch. And he was in survival mode. He wasn't trying to win. He was trying to survive, in my opinion. What did you guys think of I thought the Badu Jack fight was the fight of the night. Oh my goodness, that was like a Rocky fight. Back and forth action. I'm surprised it went the distance. I mean, them shots that's the best I ever seen Badu Jack looking. I can't remember the guy, McKenna or something like that. This guy, I never seen him before, but he could take a shot. I mean, some of them punches were so thunderous, it seemed like I could see him going down almost, and he would just recover like that. And I heard he was a big guy and lost a lot of weight. He had to come down to fight Badu Jack. I just enjoyed that fight. That was the fight of the night. Great, great action fight. And then Jake Paul against Nate Robinson. What was Nate Robinson doing? Jake Paul came into basketball trying to clown Nate Robinson because he played in the NBA, won the slam dunk contest. And all he was doing was like running in like a wide receiver and trying to rush Jake Paul. Jake Paul hit him once in the ear, knocked him down. He got up and acted like it was behind the head. And then Jake Paul clocked him in the ear or something. I can't remember. And he just fell. You could tell the way he fell on his face. He wasn't getting up. It was brutal. And Snoop Dogg had me cracking up the way he was singing and clowning Nate as he was getting punished. He was like, man, he's got some offense, but his trainers ain't taught him much about defense. Wow, Jake Paul put it on him. And Sugar Ray Leonard was one of the commentators. And Israel. I can't think of his last name from the UFC. And Snoop just had me. He just had me cracking up. But I was disappointed in Roy. You know, I thought, man, you got to give a better performance than hugging, and then throwing them little soft punches just to look active. I'm like, hugging is not a fight, man. So Mike Tyson looked kind of frustrated, but it's not really his fault. What can you do if your opponent doesn't want to fight? Same thing with Lewis and Akinwande. Your hands are tied if the other guy doesn't want to engage. So if they do it again, hopefully it'll be a longer fight. I don't know, this Triller or whatever it was, they kept messing up. They had the wrong guys' names up there when Mike and Roy were going at it. They had three. This is the third round out of six. I was like, wait, I thought it was 8 rounds, and later they switched it back to 8. Oh no, come on, Roy. You better than that. I know if you didn't think you could beat Mike, why take the fight? Were you just trying to get well, it's not a money grab. I hear the money's going to charity, but why take a fight if your only strategy is good? I'm going to hold the dude for 8 rounds. I mean, the dude in the crowd could have done that. Really disappointed in Roy, man. I think Mike's going to keep fighting for charity. He's enjoying this. I think Roy's probably going to hang it up. He's talking about watching the fight and talking to his family and seeing what they say. But if you feel you can't take a punch and your only defense is hugging, then it's time to hang it up, in my opinion. I enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed it, especially the Badu Jack fight. Man, that was some toe-to-toe action, and Badu was just on attack mode. And I got to give props to the other guy for having a chin. And he was landing on Jack, too, to be honest. And Jack was just focused. But good night of boxing. Like I said, I didn't like all the rap garbage because the rap I grew up on sounded a lot better than this garbage we hear nowadays. But that's another story. Anyway, it's me, the J Roos theory, the J, the only theory that matters. Beat down the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of the fight, and tell me what you'd like to see from Tyson next, and if you think he can take on the new guys or just what. I couldn't even really get a proper assessment of him because, like I said, it was a hug fest. Roy Hugs Jr. Oh, and I talked about the Dubois-Joyce fight. I just wanted to give some more thoughts on that. I heard later that I think Joyce broke Dubois' orbital bone, and Frank Warren said something about Dubois feeling like a nerve pain shooting through his eye or his head, so that probably frightened him, and he reacted out of fear. And later he's gonna go back and watch it like, oh, I could have kept going, but pain like that was new to him. And my son actually picked Joyce to win. He kept talking about how Joyce's jab was giving Dubois problems, and yeah, definitely gave him problems. I don't know what's next for Dubois. Well, he probably will stick with the same team. Joyce will go on to bigger, better things. I think if Joshua vacates the WBO belt, I think Joyce will probably fight Usyk for that, or Usyk. He kept calling out Usyk after the fight. And we'll see what happens with that. Great night of boxing, though. Hopefully we get a great night of boxing with Joshua Pulev. I got Joshua in that one. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.